Hi, welcome to On This Day in Tudor History with me, Claire Ridgway, author of On This Day in Tudor History and a few other books. On this day in Tudor history, the 7th of January 1558, in the reign of Queen Mary I, England lost Calais. Thomas Wentworth, the Lord Deputy of Calais, was forced to surrender when French troops led by the Duke of Guise stormed the castle. The Pale of Calais on the coast of northern France had become an English territory in 1347 after a siege following the English victory at the Battle of Crécy in 1346. That was in the reign of King Edward III. It became increasingly important as by the mid-15th century it was the only English possession in mainland France, and it became the main port for exporting English wool abroad. In 1554, Queen Mary I, the eldest daughter of King Henry VIII, married Philip of Spain, and in 1557 England became involved with Philip's war with France being ruled by Henry II at the time. The French king was concerned about English troops supporting those of Spain, so he secretly planned an attack on Calais. Philip of Spain got wind of this attack and warned the English government, who set about raising troops to send across the Channel. However, as historian Richard Cavendish noted in an article for History Today, England was in the grips of an influenza epidemic, so it was hard to find men fit enough to go. On the 31st of December 1557, Thomas Wentworth, Lord Deputy of Calais, wrote to King Philip reporting that the French were camped 3 leagues from Calais and that he was concerned about them launching an attack. On the 1st of January 1558, Philip sent the following message to Wentworth. We have had sure information today that the French are about to make an attack with all their forces on Calais. We wish to inform you by this messenger in order that you may urgently take all possible precautions with your customary vigilance for the defence of that fortress and the frustration of the enemy's designs. It is desirable that you should report by special messenger to the Queen, our consort, informing her of everything that you require from that kingdom. If there is anything else we can do to contribute to the defence of Calais and defeat of the enemy, we will gladly use our best efforts, for there is nothing of greater importance for our interests and those of the Kingdom of England. On the 2nd of January, Wentworth reported to Philip that the enemy is by the bridge very near this town. He has 20,000 men, foot and horse, and is skirmishing with us all the time. And he begged the king for help. The following day he wrote again saying, they have set their batteries in position and have stormed the castle at the entrance to the port, and also the other castle on the road leading to France. Thus they have occupied all our territory, and nothing remains for them to do except to take this town. And concluding that, we have little hope unless your Majesty sends us relief. Wentworth added, whatever befalls, I am determined to die at my post. English troops under the leadership of the Earl of Rutland arrived at Dover on the south coast of England on the 3rd of January, ready to set off across the Channel to Calais. But they found out that Calais could not be reached because the French were occupying the beaches. England could not help. On the 6th of January, 200 of Philip's soldiers from Gravelines tried to enter the Pale of Calais, but were unsuccessful, being driven off by the French. Calais was on its own. On the 7th of January 1558, Philip wrote to Don Luis Carvajal, telling him that the harbour castle had fallen and that Calais was besieged and being shelled. He ordered him to move the Spanish fleet out of the harbour to stop the French seizing their supplies and to join the English fleet out at sea. Philip added, if the English go on requesting you to throw troops into Calais, and you see that this can be done without taking too great risks or loss of reputation, I will leave the decision to you. But you yourself are not to leave the fleet, and you will take the greatest pains to keep me informed of what happens." The fleet had luckily already been moved out of the port. The French siege was successful, and Calais fell to the French on this day in 1558. Here is an account by Jean Perdrix, who is described as a townsman of Calais who came in this town of Gravelines, where he declared on the 7th of January at 2 o'clock after midnight, the French entered the castle of Calais by a breach which they had opened in it. The French had entered the castle before the townsmen knew they were there. At about 3 o'clock, a parley began with the French. At about 6 o'clock, it was learnt that an agreement had been reached and that the town had been surrendered, the garrison's lives being spared, but everyone taken prisoner. As soon as the town was surrendered, it was sacked by the French and all the inhabitants taken prisoner. As the defenders were only 2,000 strong, they were compelled to surrender. Within the castle, there was a man-at-arms of Calais called Middleton, having about 20 men-at-arms with him who had entered the town. The loss of Calais, a territory which had been held for over 200 years, was a huge blow for Mary I and for England. And it's said that Mary exclaimed to one of her attendants, "When I am dead and opened, you shall find Philip and Calais lying in my heart." Well, sorry to leave you on such a gloomy note there, but perhaps I'll have something happier for you tomorrow. You can subscribe to the channel by clicking round about there. You can hit the bell to be notified as these videos go live, and you can, of course, give me a like and leave a comment. Thank you. Bye-bye.